Hi everyone, this is Tamim Anwar. I'm going to be starting Principles of Security presentation here. Let's get started. Table of contents. Here you will find the table of contents and different topics with their page numbers and all the other information. Let's get started with Introduction to Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. These cyber attacks are usually aimed at accessing, changing, or destroying sensitive information, extorting money from users, phishing, or even interrupting business processes. Implementing effective cybersecurity measures are challenging today because there is more use of devices including cell phones, tablets, desktops, laptops, and servers globally than ever before, and cyber attackers are becoming more innovative. The role of cybersecurity in the organization. Cybersecurity is a subset of information security management that focuses on securing digital information and digital assets. To accomplish this, cybersecurity approach must establish security measurements and metrics, maintain awareness of emerging threats and vulnerabilities, translate risks into business impact for senior leadership, recommend best practices, and influence the organization's policy, standards, procedures, and guidelines, ensure compliance with government and industry regulators. Information security HR issues. When implementing information security, there are many human resource issues that must be addressed, including positioning and naming, staffing, evaluating impact of information security across every role in IT function, integrating solid information security concepts into personal practices. Employees often feel threatened when the information security program is being updated. IT security functions continue to be understaffed and at risk. One of the biggest barriers to a strong security posture, according to Panniman Institute research, is not having a team of security professionals that can deal with complex and serious internal and external threats to the organization. Unfortunately, improvements in staffing are not happening. The security function can be placed within IT function, physical security function, administrative services, insurance and risk management function, legal department. Many cybersecurity professionals enter IT security market by gaining their technical skills, experience, and their credentials. Selecting the personnel for cybersecurity roles is based on many criteria depending on the role itself, job responsibilities, and etc. NIST is responsible for developing standards and guidelines, including minimum requirements for providing adequate information security for all agency operations and assets, but such standards and guidelines shall not apply to national security systems. Here you can find the more information about NIST cybersecurity framework, the functions, identify, protect, detect, respond, recover, and you will find categories for each of the functions as well. Cyber threat. A cyber threat is any malicious act that attempts to gain access to a computer network without authorization or permission from owners. It refers to the wide range of malicious activities that can damage or disrupt a computer system, a network, or the information it contains. Most common cyber threats are social engineered trojans, unpatched software, phishing, network worms, etc. Sources of cyber threats. Cyber threats can come from a wide variety of sources. Some notable examples include national governments, terrorists, industrial secret agents, rogue employees, hackers, business competitors, organization insiders. Cyber threat classifications. Threats can be classified by multiple criteria: attackers' resources, attackers' organizations, attackers' funding. On the basis of these criteria, threats are of three types: unstructured threats, structured threats, highly structured threats. We will be discussing more about these threats. Unstructured cyber threats. Resources, individual or it can be of small group. Organization, little or no organization. Funding, negligible. Attack, it is very easy to detect and make use of freely available cyber attack tools. Exploitation is based on documented vulnerabilities. Structured cyber threats include resources which are well trained individuals or groups. Organization, well planned, funding available, attack against particular individual or organizations. Exploitation based on the information gathering itself, highly structured cyber threats, extensive organization resources and planning over time. Attack, it can be long-term attack on a machine or a data. Exploitation with multiple methods, technical, social, and insider help. Types of cyber attacks. Advanced persistent threat. It is a network attack in which an unauthorized person gains access to the network and stays there undetected for a long period of time. Backdoor, a method of bypassing normal authentication and gaining access in OS or application. Buffer overflow, an exploit that takes advantage of the program that is waiting for a user's input. Man in the middle attack. This attack intercepts and relays messages between two parties who are communicating directly with each other. Cross-site scripting, a code injection attack that allows an attacker to execute malicious JavaScript in another user's browser. Denial of service attack, any attack where the attackers attempt to prevent the authorized users from accessing the service. SQL injection, a very common exploited web application vulnerability that allows malicious hacker to steal and alter data in websites database. Zero-day exploit, a vulnerability in a system or device that has been disclosed but is not yet patched. Impacts of cyber attacks. A successful cyber attack can cause major damage to organization or systems, as well as to business reputation and consumer trust. Some potential results include financial loss, reputational damage, legal consequences. Historical information. Most common cyber attack is phishing, according to FBI. Phishing was the most common type of cybercrime in 2020 last year, and phishing incidents nearly doubled in frequency in just 1 year, from 114,702 incidents to more than 241,324 incidents in 2020. 75% of organizations around the world have experienced some kind of phishing attack in 2020. Another 35% experienced the spear phishing, and 65% faced BEC, business email compromise attacks. 96% of the phishing attacks arrive by email, either in your enterprise, corporate mailbox, or even your personal mailboxes. Another 3% are carried out through malicious website, and just 1% by a phone. When it's done over the phone, we call it wishing, and when it's done via text message, we call it smishing. Targeted attacks. More than 65% of active groups relied on spear phishing as the primary infection vector. This is followed by watering whole websites, 23%, Trojanized software updates, 5%, web server exploits, 2%, and data storage devices, 1%. Common baiting techniques. Notification from a help desk, system admin, payroll, HR administrator asks you to take action to resolve an issue with your account. Email account has reached its storage limit, which often includes clicking on a link and providing requested information. Advertisement for immediate discount offer, attachment label invoice for a shipping order, notification from what appears to be a credit card company, fake account on a social media site. Phishing. It's an attack that cyber attack criminals attempt to steal personal and financial information or infect computers and other devices with malware and viruses designed to trick you into clicking a link or providing personal or financial information, often in the form of emails and websites. Many many of them appear to come from legitimate companies, organizations, or known individuals take advantage of natural disasters, epidemics, health scares, political elections, timely events, and etc. Types of phishing: mass phishing, mass large volume attack intended to reach as many as possible. Spear phishing, it's a targeted attack directed at specific individuals or companies using gathered information to personalize the message and make scam difficult to detect. Veiling, it's a type of spear phishing attack that targets big fish, including high profile individuals or those with great deal of authority. Clone phishing, a spoofed copy of a legitimate and previously delivered email with original attachments or hyperlinks replaced with malicious versions which is sent from a forged email address. Types of phishing. Smishing sends a text that requests a person take an action. Farming, targeted attack directed at specific individuals or companies using gathered information to personalize the message and make scam more difficult to detect. Phishing, it happens when a cyber criminal calls a phone number and creates a heightened sense of urgency that makes a person take an action against their best interests. Protect yourself. Keep your computer security up to date and back up your data often. Consider MFA, two factor authentication, or multi factor authentication, a second step to verify who you are, like a text with a code for accounts that support it. Change any uncompromised or compromised passwords, it doesn't matter, right away. Don't use them for any other accounts. Email phishing. Fraudsters send phony emails that appear to come from valid sources in an attempt to trick users into revealing personal and financial information. What to look for? So, you need to take a look at email address, sender name, and domain spoof known brand, message itself, any attachments, impersonalized messages, any grammatical errors or grammar errors, scare tactics, imitating a known brand, all these things. What is cybersecurity all about? A cybersecurity approach which is successful has multiple layers of protection spread across the computers, networks, programs, or data that one intends to keep safe. In an organization, the people, processes, and technology must all complement one another to create an effective defense from cyber attacks. Today, the Internet brings millions and billions of unsecured computer networks and computer systems into continuous communication with each other. This itself has increased the risk of cyber attacks, and it is important for us to protect the devices from such attacks. The Committee on National Security Systems defines information security as the protection of information and its critical elements, including the systems and hardware that use, store, and transmit the information. The CNSS model of information security evolved from a concept developed by computer security industry called CIA Triad. Now let's define CIA Triad. What is CIA Triad? In CIA Triad, CIA stands for confidentiality, C for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. It is a model designed to guide policies for information security within an organization. The CIA Triad is so fundamental to information security that anytime data is leaked, a system is attacked, a user takes a phishing bait, an account is hijacked, a website is maliciously taken down, or any number of other security incidents that can occur, you can be certain that one or more of these principles have been violated of the CIA. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. Confidentiality refers to an organization's efforts to keep their data private or secret. It is also about controlling access to data or to prevent unauthorized disclosure. Typically, confidentiality involves ensuring that only those who are authorized have access to specific assets and that those who are unauthorized are effectively or actively prevented from obtaining access. Confidentiality can be violated in many ways, for example, through direct attacks designed to gain unauthorized access to systems, applications, and databases in order to steal or tamper with data. And there are many other ways. Integrity. The integrity in information security is all about ensuring that data has not been tampered with and therefore can be trusted. It is correct, authentic, and reliable. It can be compromised directly via an attack vector such as tampering with intrusion detection systems, modifying configuration files, or changing system logs to evade detection, or unintentionally through human error, lack of care, coding errors, or inadequate policies, procedures, and protection mechanisms. Availability. Availability is all about how network systems and applications are up and running. It ensures that authorized users have timely, reliable access to resources when they are needed. Many things can jeopardize availability, including hardware or software failure, power failure, natural disasters, and human errors. Perhaps the most well-known attack that threatens availability is the denial of service attack, in which the performance of a system, website, web-based application, web-based service intentionally and maliciously is degraded, or the system becomes completely unreachable. Countermeasures to help ensure availability include redundancy in servers, networks, applications, and services. How physical security is also important. Security is protection from adversaries, those who would harm intentionally or otherwise is the ultimate objective of security. For example, national security is a multi-layered system that protects the sovereignty of a state, its assets, its resources, and its people. Achieving the appropriate level of security for an organization also requires a multifaceted system. A successful organization should also have multiple layers of security in place to protect its operations, physical infrastructure, people, functions, communications, and information. Physical security is also related to cybersecurity, as the risk of physical security and physical attack can be done when launching a cyber attack. Physical attacks could be breaking into a secure data center, sneaking into restricted areas of a building, or using terminals they have no business accessing. Attackers could steal or damage important IT assets such as servers or storage media, gain access to important terminals for most mission critical applications, steal information via USB, or upload malware onto your systems. Internet of Things and artificial intelligence AI is bringing physical security into digital world. Surveillance systems are increasingly connected to the internet. Access control systems and monitoring systems are keeping digital logs, which also are being used for use cases for AI and physical security, which is becoming more popular. Thus, it's important for IT and physical security need to operate more closely. Digital logs need to be processed, stored, and presented to the right people. AI models may need to be created and systems trained. Importantly, all internet connected devices need to be properly secured. Physical security principles and measures. Physical security measures include access control and surveillance. Access control encompasses a large area that includes basic barriers to more sophisticated things such as keypad, ID card, or biometrically restricted doors. Surveillance includes everything from guards on patrol, burglar alarms, and CCTV to sound and movement sensors, and keeping a log of who went there. At more high-risk locations, companies can deploy far more sophisticated detectors such as proximity, uh, infrared image, optical temperature, and smoke and pressure sensors to maintain a holistic view of their facilities. Applying the traditional tools of physical security, such as locks and keys, restricting access to and interaction with hardware components of information system, along with securing the physical location of computers and other equipments devices, because breach in physical security can result in loss of information and other losses as well. How contingency planning is important to both physical and cyber security. The contingency planning is about dealing with counteraction of interruption to the organization's activities and the critical business processes from the effects of major failures, cyber attacks, or disasters. These disasters or attacks can be of physical nature, and it could be also cyber attack, and contingency planning is about how to counter these attacks. Contingency planning include business continuity planning (BCP) and disaster recovery planning. A business continuity planning is a document and a plan that outlines how a business will continue operating during an unplanned disruption in a service. A disaster recovery planning is a formal document created by an organization that contains detailed instructions on how to respond to unplanned incidents such as natural disasters, power outages, cyber attacks, and any other disruptive events. Common cybersecurity responsibilities include access control, application and network performance, patch management, vulnerability management, endpoint detection and response, BCP, business continuity planning, business backup and disaster recovery, cybersecurity training. Information security blueprint. Why it is important. An information security blueprint is a detailed plan for planning framework for enterprise incorporating design, selection, and implementation of technologies as well as security policies, education, and training. The information security policies precipitate the requirement for a security blueprint. This framework is the basis for all aspects of information security within the organizations. Uh, as well. It also includes a planning framework for enterprise, incorporating design, selection, and implementation of technologies, as well as the security policies, education, and training. Security education training and awareness program. As soon as a general security policy exists, policies to implement security education training and awareness CETA program should follow. CETA is a control measure designed to reduce accidental security breaches. Security education and training builds on the general knowledge the employees must process or possess to do their jobs, familiarizing them with the way to do the job securely. The CETA program consists of three elements: security education, security training, and security awareness. Risk management and risk assessment. In both physical and cybersecurity, risk management examines the information about assets and analyzes the risk impact, such as costs, loss, and reputation in relation to being unable to meet the organization's business objectives. Risk management is also a process to identify and assess the impact of risks and to reduce or mitigate risks to manageable levels by providing and maintaining effective controls that may impact confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The CIA tried, which we just discussed. A cybersecurity risk assessment identifies the various information assets that could be affected by cyber attack, such as hardware, systems, laptops, customer data, intellectual property, and etc., and then identifies the various risks that could affect those assets. A risk estimation and evaluation is usually performed, then followed by the selection of controls to treat the identified risks. What is vulnerability? A cybersecurity term that refers to a flaw in a system that can leave it open for attack. Vulnerability is the composition of three elements: a flaw in system, access of an attacker to that flaw, capability of attacker to exploit the flaw. What is penetration testing? Penetration testing is a cyber attack simulation launched on your system to help discover points of exploitation and test IT breach security. By doing penetration testing, businesses can obtain expert, unbiased, third party feedback on their security processes. Penetration testing challenges a network's security. Given the value of businesses network, it is imperative that businesses consult with experts before penetration testing. Experts can ensure that testing does not damage the network, and they can also provide better insights into vulnerabilities as well. Penetration testing experts can also help businesses before, during, and after the tests to help obtain useful and beneficial results. Here, you will see more information about what is a penetration test. An authorized attack on a computer system, network, or application to identify security vulnerabilities bad actors might exploit. The process: information gathering, threat modeling, vulnerability analysis, exploitation, post exploitation reporting, types of penetration tests, application, network, physical, IoT, mobile. Why conduct a penetration test? Identify security vulnerabilities, validate compliance with policies, evaluate effectiveness of defenses. What is ethical hacking? Ethical hacking is an authorized practice of bypassing security to identify potential data breaches and threats in a network. Ethical hacking is also synonymous with penetration testing in a business context. In a penetration testing, an organization is ethically hacked to discover security issues. Penetration testing includes consent between the business and tester to do ethical hacking as well. Summary: the physical security is playing and will play a major role in future for securing information security infrastructure. Today, organizations are implementing sufficient controls and safeguards to mitigate against undue attacks from intruders who face multiple obstacles and layers of controls. They are also implementing business continuity planning, disaster recovery planning, and are involved in different cyber security assessments and testing, including penetration testing, ethical hacking, risk assessment, vulnerability assessment, and much more. Information sources. That's it about today's presentation. Thank you.